there's a lot to talk about with this Chris Pratt situation. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of nonsense to talk about. We're going to talk about the good right now, and the good is the Avengers co-stars are rallying around Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, by all accounts, is a great guy. He's a great guy, and everyone that interacts with him seems to think he's a great guy. I've never heard a bad thing about Chris Pratt. He seems to be one of the all-time good guys in Hollywood. Now, the worst thing about Chris Pratt to the Twitter mob is what? It's that he's a Christian, a straight white male, a male, and he is conservative. These are evil, evil things to the woke Twitter mob. But the beautiful thing here is that so many of the Avengers co-stars are rallying around him. And if we're going to call out these Hollywood nut jobs for all of the stupid things they say and the stupid things they do, it's only fair to highlight when they do awesome stuff like this. And we're going to highlight it right now. Robert Downey Jr., and this was tweeted out by our Geeks and Gamers account. Stephanie B does a fantastic job on that account. So make sure you give her some love in the comments, because she catches all types of hate because of people hate me, so they go after Stephanie. It's absolutely ridiculous. But here's Robert Downey Jr., and he says, "What a world. The sinless are casting stones at my brother Chris Pratt, a real Christian who lives by principle, has never demonstrated anything but positivity and gratitude. And he just married into a family that makes space for civil discourse and just plain facts, insist on service at the highest value. If you take issue with Chris, I've got a novel idea. Delete your social media accounts, sit with your own defects of character, work on them, then celebrate your humanness." Boom! I love it. And Chris Pratt's handle is Pratt, and it says, @Pratt, I've got your back. I love it. I love a brotherhood like this, and this is a beautiful thing. Now, we've got Data Racer 117 over here. Go follow Data Racer 117 if you have not. He does a great job of digging up a lot of this nonsense on Twitter, compiling it so we don't have to do it. Please go follow him. Good people right there. Now, these are some of the nonsense. This is some of the nonsense going on with the Avengers cast members. Chris Pratt's MCU co-stars are defending him from the cancel mob. They're now being bullied and harassed too. Zoe Saldana is getting the worst. Of course she is. Do you know why? Do you know why Zoe Saldana is getting the worst? Because she's a woman and she is a non-white woman. That's the worst thing in the world for the woke Twitter mob, the tolerant crowd out there, the ones that call you isms all day long. When they see a non-white woman going against their narrative, it sends them into a frenzy like no other, because they are the truest and the truisms out there, and anyone with common sense knows this. Now, right here showing the Robert Downey Jr. tweet now, or the Robert Downey Jr. Instagram post. Now look, everybody knows I think Mark Ruffalo is an absolute nut job. This dude is so far gone, it's not even funny. But respect where it counts. And right here, he gives Chris Pratt a shout out, stands by Chris Pratt, and that is a beautiful thing. We have Josh Gad, we have James Gunn, and here we have the great Zoe Saldana. I love Zoe Saldana. I know she has her views, and that's totally fine, but I love her as an actress. I love her as Gamora. She's one of my favorite MCU characters, and of course, she's out here standing up for Chris Pratt. So you know what that means? You know what that means? Of course you know what that means. She's going to get the worst. She's going to get the worst of it. Now, here are some of the responses to all of this. And again, shout out to Data Racer 117 for getting all of this together. Here's a person that says, "I hate white men," in response to Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo is literally the wokest person on the planet. And now you're talking about how you hate him. What? I remember, I talked about this on a live stream. I remember some social justice weirdo made a tweet. And I don't remember who responded, but it was beautiful. Some social justice weirdo made a tweet, and they basically said, "I hate all men, and all men must die." Someone responded, because this was shortly after the George Floyd situation. And someone responded and said, "So does this mean that George Floyd deserved it?" They lost their mind, dude. Oh my God. They were like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? How do you think I would say that?" And it's like, you literally just said that you want all men gone. So they're just holding your feet to the fire, and they lost it, because these people are insane. They are truly insane. It was so funny, but yeah, you see all of the horrible things being said. Here's another person just branding Mark Ruffalo as a white man to go out of their way. So beautiful to watch them eat each other alive. There you see the C words in reference to Zoe Saldana, black and stupid. There's another one right there. Somebody says Pratt's going to die in 7 days. Just a nasty biracial woman right there. F you too, girl, shut the F up. Look at there. Look at there. I'm not even going to repeat that. Look at there. Do they know that you're black? What? Like, this is insanity, dude. This is absolutely insane. Oh, but we're not done, ladies and gentlemen. We're not done at all. Because, as always, who has to get brought into this situation? None other than Queen Brie Larson. You know it. Brie Larson had to be brought into it, and she's being brought into it in a big way. So here is the post from Robert Downey Jr. over on Instagram. And as you see, it has, I don't really know how Instagram works. So, okay, 3.7 million likes. And then you've got Jeremy Renner showing his support. You got James Gunn showing his support. And now it's time for Brie Larson. And where were you when Brie Larson was getting ruthlessly attacked for months by millions of men online with death threats and constant harassment simply for existing? Yes, she was harassed simply for existing. That's how it worked. That's exactly how it worked, except that is a complete and total lie and a misrepresentation of the entire situation. But what else would you expect from a Brie Larson bot? And then there's all types of comments about Brie. Where were y'all when Brie was getting dragged? And it just continues on and on. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, all the hate comments are there. And yes, so of course, the Brie Larson bots have now brought Brie Larson into it. Let me explain something to you, Brie bots, even though you don't listen and you don't have any common sense and you're not very intelligent. Brie Larson was criticized because Brie Larson attacked an entire race and a gender multiple times. Multiple times, she point blank said things about men and white men specifically. So that's why she was criticized. Chris Pratt has done nothing. Chris Pratt hasn't said anything bad about anyone. Chris Pratt simply didn't do something politically that you weirdos wanted him to do, therefore you're going to attack him. And now people that know him best are standing up and saying, stop attacking this guy, he's a great guy and he's done nothing wrong. Brie Larson spoke out against white men. Brie Larson is the one that sent the attacks out. So when the internet responded to her hatred and her racism and her sexism, why would the Avengers co-stars need to sit there and take up for her? She's the one that threw the stones. She's the one that threw the attacks out at men and white people. She did that. Chris Pratt's done nothing wrong. But of course, always bringing Brie into the situation. That is how it always plays out. But again, there's a lot of good to take away from this. The Avengers co-star standing up for their friend and for an all-time great guy in Chris Pratt. I love it. And of course, the more that they get called out, the more they're going to scream, the more they're going to cry, the more they're going to whine, and the more they're going to expose themselves as the horrible people that they are. And as social justice always does, they will eat each other alive on a consistent basis. It is hilarious to watch. It is hilarious to witness. And it's not surprising to anyone that's been paying attention to what's going on. Again, good work to Data Racer. Good work to Stephanie B over on the Geeks and Gamers Twitter account. Good work to the Avengers co-stars. It's nice to see people standing up for their friend against the woke Twitter mob. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.